Every day, we find ourselves racing against the clock, juggling various tasks and trying to squeeze the most out of every hour. Yet, despite our best efforts, many people feel like they haven't accomplished enough. What if I tell you that there are strategies that you can employ to not only win this battle against time, but also enjoy the journey? In this video, I will cover my personal approach towards productivity, the principles that I have defined for being productive, learned over many years. I will also show you how I organize my work, and I will end with the recommendations from scientific literature and other content on this topic. Let's check it out. Productivity in its essence is effectiveness of effort, measuring how much you can accomplish in a given time frame. Its importance cannot be overstated because it underlines your professional performance while also allowing you more time for relaxation, pursuing your passions, and self-improvement. Being productive isn't about filling your time with tasks. It's about working smarter, not harder. On a high level, being productive means defining clear goals, prioritizing your tasks, and employing various strategies to manage your time effectively. We all have 24 hours in a day. Let's do some math. This is a graph from the American Bureau of Labor Statistics. And here you can see that most individuals spend most of their time in personal care and sleep. This is an aggregation of the whole population, so these figures might differ for single individuals, but it gives you a clear idea like how much time people spend on different activities. So after personal care, the biggest activity number is leisure and sports. Number third on the list is working and work-related activities where people spend an average of 5 hours a day. After that is household activities, then eating and drinking, followed by small things like purchasing goods, caring for others, or organizational and religious activities, and in the end, maybe some telephone calls and other activities. And this is how my day looks like on average every week. The first and most important thing is sleep and recovery, where I spend 8 hours. I work for 8 hours, 8 to 9 hours every day on average. The third most important thing for me is working out, training every day, at least for 60 minutes. That includes lifting weights, running, or yoga, or the combination of these two if I have more time. It takes me about a couple of hours for meal prep, eating, doing groceries. I think I use less than 1 hour for screen time on average, but I try to minimize it as much as possible. And the rest is, of course, spending time with some family, calls, emails, and so on. The only activities that would allow me some room to pursue my own passions would be either cutting down commuting to work or cutting down on my screen time. Before we get into the details, I want to mention that my overall health, sleep quality, and habits play a huge role in my motivation, desire, and the ability to perform at an optimal level. Nutrition, working out, cold showers, and meditations are crucial building blocks for me to be really productive. I also want to state that I do not align myself with hustle culture, which glorifies ceaselessly working long hours and a relentless pursuit of professional success. I think it focuses more on busyness than substance. It has become like a kind of status symbol to tell people how busy you are. For me, it is more important what do I achieve in a week than how many hours I work. I have defined the goal of being productive is to own my time. Do things that I love doing, such as working out, reading, spending time with my family and friends. Let me show you how I have this balance between my work schedule, private life, and relationships. In more than a decade of working and research, I have defined the following principles for me to be more productive and use my time really efficiently. I zero in on one single most critical task every day. I believe in having primary focus on the most important thing that you do in a given frame of time. And this ensures significant progress on the most critical projects in my life. I reserve my mornings for high priority and creative work. The first 3 hours of the day are mine. Those are dedicated to journaling, reading, and working out. Exercise charges me up. Then I start working around 8, and in this way, I capitalize on peak mental clarity to do great work. I create an environment which is conducive to deep work to create a state of flow where I'm fully immersed in the task at hand. When I'm working, I activate focus mode on my MacBook and iPhone, which completely blocks any kinds of calls or alerts. A cluttered desk is like a cluttered mind. I like to keep my workspace minimalistic. I do not use more than a couple of tools, no extra screens, nothing, and I try to keep it super clean. If I'm working on something that is really complicated and requires utter attention, then I skip lunch. I do not eat during the day. I fast. And that helps me keep my energy levels constant throughout the day and also helps me a great deal in sharpening my focus. When I'm working, I try to avoid any kind of stimulus and especially noise, which I find very disturbing and interrupting. Luckily, I have AirPods Pro and their noise cancellation function is awesome. So even though I'm not listening to any kind of music or podcast, they still help me to cancel out any unwanted noise or frequency and allow me to focus on my work. I do not use any kind of social media except YouTube, and that too for learning and education. A few years ago, I realized that scrolling down social media, Facebook, Instagram, or any other platform does not necessarily make me smarter or more informed. In fact, they consume my mental bandwidth for trivial matters that I don't want to be engaged with. So I quit. I have deactivated all kinds of notifications on my cell phone except for WhatsApp. And in this way, I have minimized all disruptions coming from social media. One more thing that I've quit in the last years is news. My point of view on that is op-eds are mostly commentaries about current issues lacking depth. Reading newspapers does not necessarily make me smarter or equip me with the kind of tools and mindset that I need to improve my life. So that's why I have decided to rather spend time in reading books which provide a well thought out thesis about a particular subject and are always supported by evidence and research. Tell us in the comment section one small change that you have made to boost up your productivity. To translate my principles into action, I follow a structured approach, and today I'm going to share it with you, how I organize and manage my work. Before starting any project, I define a clear objective and a structure, laying strong foundations for the progress. I need to know why I am doing this project, which problem I am solving for the client. I develop frameworks for my projects, ensuring a systematic progression towards my goals. One example is a project management framework. I have developed this framework after working for years on digital transformation projects and figuring out what are the core aspects of any project and how to manage them. I use a maximum of 2 blocks of 2 hours of highly creative and focused work, which requires utmost attention. That totals up to 4 hours of highly productive work. The rest of the day, I plan for meetings, alignments, emails, and other things that require slightly less degree of attention. I create various versions of my work, thus allowing for comparison and refinement. By tinkering with the slides, which I work mostly on for many days, I allow my mind to absorb the information and continuously explore creative ways to address the issue. To enhance my productivity and ensure deep concentration, I employ a disciplined approach to managing my digital environment. That means completely shutting down applications like Microsoft Outlook, Teams, and disabling all notifications to minimize interruptions. Moreover, when researching online, I streamline my process by having only one tab open in the browser to focus on the task and only have those applications open which help me in completing the task. I set specific time limits for my tasks and establish deadlines, breaking large projects into manageable milestones. I force myself to always finish the work one day before the deadline and use the last day only to review it again and again and ensure high quality. Other than the highly creative and productive work that we all do, most of our days are consumed by meetings, and I believe this is one area which has a lot of room for improvement. Here is how I manage my meetings. The first thing I ask is this meeting necessary? I'm very respectful of the time of my clients, my colleagues, and also mine. So I ask, can I clarify this issue with a quick call or a chat or an email and totally avoid the meeting? If there is a point that requires clarification by speaking to the person, then I try to minimize it to a 10-minute call that I set up spontaneously with the person. If the agenda of the meeting is more than one point, let's say it's 2 or 3 points, then I still try to minimize the meeting time to 15 minutes instead of sending the default 30 minutes invitation. For matters that require a thorough discussion, I have the following set of principles when it comes to meeting management. Every meeting should have a clear objective. What is the goal that we try to achieve by the end of the meeting? I never send an invitation without an agenda, clearly stating what are the points that we are going to discuss in the meeting. Then I invite only the right kind of people and not too many people in a call. All the agenda points are time boxed. That means if we have 3 agenda points for a 30 minutes meeting, every point should get 10 minutes and not more than that. Every meeting should end with a list of action items containing the task, the person who is going to carry out that task, and the deadline for that task so that we can all follow up. Here is a list of tools that I use most often to enhance my productivity. MS Outlook is the primary application that I use for organizing my time, schedule meetings with the clients, and sending and receiving emails. I use PowerPoint for creating project documents, frameworks, and presentations for really important stakeholders. I use Excel for data analysis and visualization to find out the insights hidden in the data that are critical for decision making. I use OneNote to document all of my meetings and also carry on research that is in a complex form containing a lot of text and images, and that helps me to gather a lot of information in one place. I have configured all of my documents to be automatically saved on OneDrive. In this way, I am safe, it's encrypted, and there is no risk of losing the work. Plus, I can access it remotely through different devices, be it the MacBook or the iPhone. Notion is an all-in-one workspace for taking notes, project management, facilitating collaboration, and all sorts of things. I use Notion for my private projects and most importantly, content creation, and I am a huge fan of this tool. I use Apple Notes to quickly jot down my ideas, organize information on the move, or to scan any document. Simple yet powerful. To-do lists provide clear directives on daily priorities. No matter which devices that you use, there are a lot of options to create and manage to-do lists. Use them. I use AI very often in my professional work and for content creation. It is like a superpower that helps me with ideation, research, structuring, and finalizing my work. 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals is one of the best books I have read on this topic. This book explores philosophical concepts around productivity and is really thought-provoking in terms of finding the balance between life, career, relationship, and our desires. Furthermore, I find Carl Newport's books to be a great source of comprehensive strategies to maximize your output. Andrew Huberman has done a couple of podcasts on the topic of productivity and work management. I will link them in the description. Also, I would like to suggest to check out the channel of Ali Abdal, whose main theme is productivity. In the pursuit of productivity, relaxation and humor can both serve as tools themselves, lightening up the mood and enhancing creativity. As you master these tools and approaches, try to envision yourself as a maestro who is composing a symphony of life and career with both precision and grace. Thank you for watching the video. Check out more content and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest content. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.